Dad District, Odisha, at Transforming Rural Ecosystem Conclave 2021. She has also co-authored books in international financial management and accounting for managers. She has presented papers in NITI and IIT and published articles and papers in various national and international journals. She has done a lot of book reviews of financial accounting and management. And now, I would like to welcome our faculty coordinators, Dr. Preeti Mishra ma'am, IIC President, Dr. Abhimanyu Kumar Yadav sir, IIC Convener, Assistant Professor Vinay Kumar Yadav sir, Faculty Coordinator, Ms. Aishwarya Nigam ma'am, Faculty Coordinator. Now, I would like to hand over the mic to our respected Dr. Preeti Mishra ma'am to welcome our eminent speaker. Over to you, ma'am.
Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am, you're perfectly audible.
Thank you, Avinash. And thank you, Avinash. And I, Dr. Preeti Mishra, President, IIC BBD ITM, wish you all in present here a very good morning. And I extend my gratitude to Honorable Chairperson, BBDEG, Dr. Alka Das ma'am, President BBDEG, Shri Viraj Sagar Das ji, for providing this wonderful opportunity. I also welcome and extend my gratitude to Professor and Dr. S.S. Chauhan sir, Director BBD ITM. And I welcome and extend my gratitude to all the dignitaries, faculty members, and students and other participants from other places who have joined this meeting to attend this session. Now, I owe a very warm welcome and good morning to our resource person, CA, Dr. Pinky Agarwal ma'am. She is having a very vast experience in the field of taxation and finance. And so we all are very keen to listen about the prospects of the budget 2022 and this current tax reforms. So ma'am, it is now over to you. We all welcome you.
Thank you for just giving me an opportunity to share my views with you all. I really thanks to the this college and really thanks to Dr. Preeti Mishra for giving me this opportunity. Now here I have been asked to also just guide you little bit of tax planning for the next year. So my PPT not only covers the impact of budget 22 on the taxation reform, it also covers certain tax planning tips. So it will help you to save your tax for the next year. So let us see whether you'll be able to do it or not. And please, you are free to just unmute yourself and ask, because I want to keep it as an interactive session. It's not that, okay, I'm going to just go on and show the PPT. So it's very interactive. You can always unmute in between also and ask me questions, or you can write in the chat box, because chat box, whenever I'm speaking, it's like a flow. So sometimes I may say skip the chats. So it's better to unmute yourself and ask me. Okay. So let's start our session. So shall I start?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm just sharing my screen now. I hope my screen is visible.
Yes, ma'am.
Start. So today's topic is impact of budget 22 on taxation reforms. I, Dr. C.A. Pinky Agarwal, is going to present this. So let us first know the basics, why this budget happens. So what is economy? How the economy of a country is developed. The economy of a country means what? How, whether the country is able to produce their goods and services within the limited resources, it is able to sustain. And of course, as it grows more and more, the standard of living of the citizen of that country increases. So here what happens, the basic economy of a country depends on what the natural resources of that country, that is oil and mineral deposits, capital formation, market size, improvement in technology, and investment in physical capital. So every year, the government plans its expenditure under these heads. So the first and foremost, the budget covers the what the government is planning. Okay, this will be the expenditure. They are going to spend their revenue under these heads so that the economy of the country is developed in a vast manner. So that is why they divide the total revenue under these heads. That is how the market size, the capital market nowadays. So you must have noticed, those who are very keen in capital market, that COVID-19 really promoted a lot of investment in the capital market. Now people जिस बोलते झुकाव हो गया है capital markets के प्रति, because that is treated as the safest mode of investment nowadays because of this pandemic attack. And also the government, the more is the infrastructural development of a country, the economy of a country develops more, and all these contributes to the GDP of the country. Now what happens, this is the first part, you can say the first column of the budget, that is the expenditure, but from where they are going to procure the revenue. So they plan from where the revenue will be procured from the citizen only. So we are the only people who are contributing to the revenue of our country, and we are the people only who enjoys this. So actually we can say it's Sada Hak, we are the only people, and Sada Hak ki tarah we can say we are contributing. So ye hamara hak hai ki we should enjoy each and every facility given by the government. Now many people compare with US and India. US में तो यार medical facility is totally free. So what happens? The tax rate is much more higher than India if you compare it. But of course, what happens there? The people, each and every citizen is contributing to the revenue of the government. But if we see here in India, less than, you can say, means less than 10% people contribute to the revenue. So not all the people are contributing or you are paying tax to the government. So the revenue source is very less for the government. So how they can provide more and more facility? So we are going to discuss what are the revenue, what are the sources of revenue of the government. If we see, we can see the rupee comes in the treasury of the government through different types of non-debt capital receipts, income tax, excise duty, corporation tax, GST, customs. So if we notice that the major contributor to the source is the taxes and the revenue. And what the government has to do, they have to take loan and the loan and the loan, and this is known as debt trap. So that is why our country is always under debt trap. They are always procuring loan to pay your earlier loan. So this is the different sources of revenue which the government gets, and how they spend it. So they spend it under different, like central sector scheme, my finance commission. So you can see the infrastructural development, the defense, all these expenditures are taken care by the whatever they are getting, the revenue, they are taking care of these expenditure. Now, if we notice that, again, the major area where they are spending is your interest payment, because we are taking a lot of loans, so we have to pay interest. If that loan reduces, and that loan can only be reduced if the taxes are paid on time by the citizen of country. So our main discussion today is the taxation, how we can enhance the tax revenue of the government and how we can reduce the loan the government is taking, and simultaneously the expenditure, the major expenditure, that is interest payment, is also reduced. So this is the part, and if we combine both, we get the budget. So every year the government estimates the expenditure and the revenue, and they plan it, place it before the citizen, and it is passed. So as the budget passed, it becomes an act, and we have to follow this. So here the government, how they depict their revenue and expenditure through balance of trade and balance of payment. So this is just I hope everyone is aware of this. So I'm just touching all these points So balance of trade and balance of payment, they signifies the total exports and imports of goods and services which the country is actually involved in, and it covers even the capital transaction and the current transaction. So if what we see, if this is taken extracted from RBI site only, so if we see that in the last quarter of 21-22, this was the position of our country. So what we noticed that the current account balance recorded a deficit of US dollar 9.6 billion. So this is 1.3% of GDP. So that means our GDP has fallen. Of course, the major, you can say, reason for this was pandemic. But yes, anyone wants to ask? And but of course, there was a surplus of US dollar 6.6 billion in the last year, in the last quarter. So what we have to do, we have to reduce this deficit, because as the deficit increases, the government has to balance this. And to balance this, they have to take a loan. So here you can see, this is the scenario of different quarters of the last year, what the country, our India, faced. And here, these are different newspaper cuttings wherein it is signifying that how the trade gap widens. So we are more or less dependent on the imports rather than exports. So what happened? The government actually introduced last year PLI scheme, production incentive scheme, wherein they said, okay, why we should be dependent on the, so if we are making any medicine for the raw materials, the major basic components of that, we were dependent on China. So we used to import from there. So now the government is promoting the manufacturing units. They are saying, no, you should produce the raw materials and the basic components also in India, so that the India is least dependent, and they are least dependent on the imports. Rather, we should go for exports. So all these budget, actually every year they actually review this, and they find out, okay, whether this year is the import was more or export was more. Accordingly, and they change. And so now they are investing more on agricultural. So the government has actually built a lot of ports, harbors, so that again we are rich in agriculture. So the government wants to make our India as Atmanirbhar. So Atmanirbhar Bharat they are making, and they are promoting, we are agro-based country. So they are promoting more and more agriculture by giving more incentives to the farmer, so that they should come forward and we can export more agricultural products to the countries wherein the agricultural is not, you can say farming is not that it's possible. So that is the basic objective of the government. So if we see the last year budget and receipts and expenditure, so how the deficit happened, even though the budget plans the everything, expenditure and revenue beforehand, but still deficit happens. So this is just a small, you can say, representation. So now we should focus our discussion on the taxation. So first, what happens before going forward towards budget, the impact of budget 22 on the taxation reforms, I just want to touch some, you can say, terminologies or jargons which are used in the taxation. Now, if you think all of you are aware of these terminologies, I will not go deeper into that. But if you think, no, we should first discuss that, so that when we are discussing the taxation reforms and when I'm using those jargons, you are completely so every time just remember कि as you start earning, as the income, जब पाप होते वैसे भगवान का आगमन होता है, वैसे जैसे जैसे you are earning income, you are going to pay tax. So that is the certainty, you have to pay tax, and you have to pay both direct tax and indirect tax. So what we know, that there are two types of taxes you are paying. One is direct tax and indirect tax. you are paying both. So don't think that either of the two you are paying both. Direct tax comprises of income tax, which solely depends on the income. So your income is the main basis to calculate the direct tax. Indirect tax comprises of sales, profit, dividend, tax, and tax, IGST, integrated goods and service tax. So there are goods and service tax. Today's discussion will be solely based on your direct tax, and custom duty is still there because they have not included, again, because there are many products in which custom duty is levied. Like for example, you can say petroleum products. So in that case, they have kept it separately. They have not actually covered petroleum products under the radar of goods and service tax. So here, as we know that the direct tax is on income, let us first know what is income. So many people are confused about this. Okay, whether income tax will be imposed on that or not. So what happens? People, what they say, okay, this is income or not. So if income is there, then only income tax is there. So if it is not income, it will not be taxed. So what we have to find out first, whether it is an income or not. So income under section 2, subsection 24, it comprises of everything: cash, kind. So even if you are getting in kind, if you are going for a barter system, okay, for one cow you are bartering 2 goats, then also it is treated as income. The differential amount is taxed. So don't think that only cash, you can say transaction is covered under income tax. Cash means, of course, bank, NEFT, everything. But it covers the kind also. It also covers monetary periodical returns, as well as, say, supposing once in a year you had windfall gains, we call it. Like for example, चल पैसे लगाते हैं घोड़े की रेस पे और कैमल की रेस पे. If you are getting that income, say, once in a lifetime also, that is taxable. Or say supposing, so here once in a lifetime, it also happens कि you have got some property because of inheritance. Okay, so your grandfather has made a will, and after his death, you got all his property. So in that case, it is not taxable. So again, see, there's a difference. That is also once in a lifetime you have got, but that is not treated as income. But if you are winning, say, from lottery or say races, any say, so it is not like that ki it should be lawful. People think नहीं तुमने गलत किया. So some people think कि okay, I am into smuggling business, whether it will be taxable or not. It is तो illegal नहीं, ये तो legal नहीं है. It's an illegal business, but of course it is taxable. So here always remember, Income Tax Act is always different from other acts. So will it be Companies Act or any other act, Indian Penal Code, कुछ भी act हो, the income tax is totally different. If I am into a smuggling business, I will pay tax. बाकी का जो गवर्नमेंट है वो बाकी के अलग सोचे कि मुझे पकड़ के लेके जाएंगे कि नहीं. But it is totally irrelevant whether it is lawful, unlawful. Once in a lifetime you have got it, or it is monetary periodical return. It is on accrual basis or cash basis. Now many people are confused about this. Ki, okay, say supposing due to pandemic, some people got salary for only say 8 months, and the 4 months were due. So now if you are filing a return, you are confused ki whether I am going to pay tax on 8 months income or 12 months income. So it doesn't matter. Again, it depends on you. If you want, you can pay tax on 12 months, 12 months, 12 months, because you know any which ways you will get your salary. But if you're not certain कि you will not get your salary and वो company जो है वो पैसे मारने वाली है, then please pay tax on 8 months only, not on 12 months. So these are small things which people forget, or which people are very confused while filing the tax and while paying the tax. Okay, it includes losses. So here what happens, like we always see the advertisement daag अच्छे हैं, वैसे in income tax losses are very good, and sometimes people purposely incur losses to just adjust the profits of other heads. So what happens ki, in income tax, even losses are also considered while calculating the tax. So while computing the total income, the losses are also considered, and this is a very, you can say, major area wherein you can save tax. Again, the last one you can say, so here we can see everything is income. So income kya nahi hai? Income sab kuch hai. Everything is income. There are only certain exceptional things which are not income. Like for example, agriculture income. If you are into farming, agricultural say process in India. So if you think you buy agricultural land in say Sri Lanka and do agriculture farming, you are not taxed. It is not that. It should be in India. So that is not taxable. दूसरा क्या बोलते हैं कि if you are getting gifts, okay, if you are getting gifts from your relatives का definition है here. So there is a definition of relatives कि okay, these are the people who are only relatives. So if you think लंगोटिया यार है वो यार मेरा तो मेरा relative है वो तो मेरा भाई के जैसे है, they are not relatives. So you have to very much certain whether they are relatives or not. If you are getting any gifts from your relative, it is not taxable. Now here income में real जो है वो दिखता है, that is also income, but जो नहीं भी दिखता है, that is also income. Like fictional or notional basis income. Now notional basis is very interesting. Notional basis I can give you an example. Like for example, you are owning 3 houses. Okay, so here if you are owning 3 houses and if you say I am occupying all the 3 houses, I have not let out any of the house, so I don't have any rental income, so I will not be paying any tax because I have not earned anything. But the government said, no, एक घर चाहिए तुम्हें रहने के लिए. So you need one house to stay. बाकी के house को आप क्यों बंद करके रखोगे? So what happens in order to just de-promote it, they don't wanted this. So they earlier the provision was कि only one house you can keep it as your self-occupied. Baki ka house you need to let out. If you are not letting it out, it becomes deemed let out. Now, but they made a new again an amendment. Some people said no, मेरा एक घर जो है, say supposing जमशेदपुर में है, and I am staying in Mumbai. I need actually one house in Mumbai, and जमशेदपुर my parents are living. So that how that is possible कि जमशेदपुर में जाके रहूं and मुंबई में मैं काम कर रही हूँ. So in that case, what happened? They said, okay, they made a provision, they made an amendment. Now you can keep 2 houses as your self-occupied, but the 3rd house needs to be let out. अगर आप ये 3rd house let out नहीं करेंगे, what will happen? It will be treated as deemed let out, and जो भी आसपास के rental जो चल रहे हैं, that will be treated as your rental income, and you will have to pay tax on it. You will get a notice from the income tax department. So all of the so just be aware of this. If you are owning more than 2 houses, please let it out. At least income पे tax देना ज़्यादा better है. If you are not earning any income and then you are paying tax, that is very bad. Okay, so here this is, but there are different ways in which you can save those tax also. But right now, just know this, कि even notional basis also you are paid tax. Now let us see what all these incomes सबको mix करके we prepare 5 different heads under income tax. What are those 5 heads? One is income from salary, income from house property, profits and gains from business and profession, capital gains, and the last one is income from other sources. So this is 5 heads of income, and believe me, all the income which you are earning, they get categorized under these 5 heads of income. So it depends on the characteristics of the income, and it is very important, to categorize it. Some people think income hai yaar, tax dena hai, just add it and pay the tax. It's a wrong thing, because her head have got their own uniqueness. They have got their own discount, if we can say, कि हर head में एक you are going to a departmental store and they say, okay, general discount is 20%. But if you go and visit each and every section, again, there are different discounts. So it is better to visit all the 5 heads of income, avail all, we call it as exemption and deduction, avail all the exemption and deduction under different heads, and then you go for general deduction. So many people again are not aware of this. No, there are 5 because the return which you are filing also is different as per the heads of income. So like for example, if you have only salary income, apart from that you are not having any other income, you are going to file ITR 1. Okay, and but if you have got say business income, if you have got say a salary income also, all the 5 heads of income, you are going to file ITR 3, which is a very complicated ITR. And you know, the fees of the tax practitioner also changes with the ITRs. So the least amount is for ITR 1 and the highest amount is for ITR 3. So I am just sharing this my trade secret also here. So be very careful under which head your income is categorized. Go and visit your tax practitioner, or whenever you are filing your return, according to that you file your ITRs. If you have any questions, please you can unmute yourself and ask me, because I'm just touching right now the different terminologies, the different jargons which are associated with income tax. So what happens in income tax? You may come across all these terminologies: person, assessee, previous year assessment year, residential status. Shall I cover this? Yes? Or this, all of you are aware of this? Yes?
No, ma'am. Please do cover all of this.
Okay. So here what happens? Here many people are thinking that every person, am I liable to pay tax? What's your name? Actually, I can't see the screen. Let me just maximize the screen, and I want to see some faces also, because I really love to see faces, the live people also, so that I can feel that okay, I'm just interacting with live people, because what happens then, you don't get that feel of that. So here what happens, so person, assessee, previous year assessment year, you will come across. Thanks a lot. At least I'm seeing live faces. I'm sorry I'm posting y'all, but it becomes very difficult, you know. So what happens, whether I am liable to pay tax, whether Dr. Preeti Mishra is liable to pay tax, or whether Professor Girjesh Mishra is liable to pay tax, that is very important to know. So what is happening? We all are person. So under income tax, we can call it as under section 2 subsection 31, we all are person. But we all as a person liable to pay tax or not? We as a person, if we are liable to pay tax, we become assessee. So income tax department is actually, they are bothered about more assessees, not about person. So हर कोई को नहीं पकड़ता है income tax department, only assessees को पकड़ता है. So now person में how they what they cover under person? Person means individual. No, बड़ा interesting है individual कौन होते हैं? Individual, male, females, transgender, even small child, minor child को भी पकड़ के बैठे हैं, and even person of unsound mind. यानी अनसाउंड माइंड, पागल भी बंदा अगर कमा रहा है, इनकम टैक्स डिपार्टमेंट विल कैच ऑन दैट. सो दिस इज वेरी स्ट्रेंज फॉर दैट कि पर्सन मींस इंडिविजुअल, इट कवर्स कंपनी आल्सो, इट कवर्स एचयूएफ आल्सो. ना इसमें मैं एक टिप देती हूँ आपको कि अब से सपोजिंग प्रोफेसर गिरजेश मिश्रा जो है, ही इज अर्निंग से लॉट ऑफ इनकम एंड ही इज पेइंग लॉट ऑफ टैक्स. Okay, so here I'm just giving one example. Now he wants to save tax, because what happens, salary income to bhaiya you cannot hide it, hai na? Now he is earning some more income. Say supposing he's taking private classes, okay, after the class, after the college he's taking private classes. Now if he merge that income is taxable, sir, huh? If he merge that income with his salary income, और बढ़ गया tax, और बढ़ गए 30% tax is the highest rate. Now he doesn't want to pay tax on that. What he will do, अगर उनकी family है, HUF means a person, now karta doesn't matter as per Supreme Court ruling, even a female can also become karta, but generally a male is a karta, उसकी wife, 2 बच्चे 3 बच्चे, जो भी बच्चे एक family होनी चाहिए, वो HUF फॉर्म कर सकते हैं. तो सर आप क्या कर सकते हो, आप एक HUF फाइल खोलोगे. कैसे? एक बैंक अकाउंट खोलिए, गिरजेश मिश्रा HUF, और अपने जितने भी ट्यूशन क्लासेस के फीस है वो आप HUF में ट्रांसफर कर दीजिए. सो आप क्या हो गए, 2 एंटिटी हो गए, एक प्रोफेसर गिरजेश मिश्रा इंडिविजुअल, एक प्रोफेसर गिरजेश मिश्रा HUF हो गए, ठीक है। एंड बोथ द फाइल्स में 5 लाख 5 इनकम इज नॉट टैक्सेबल। सो आप 10 लाख तक टैक्स पेमेंट नहीं करेंगे, है ना। सो दिस वाज अ टिप फॉर विच यू हैव टू विजिट अ टैक्स कंसल्टेंट, अदरवाइज 10 लाख होते ही 30% टैक्स आप पेमेंट कर रहे हो। तो see this, why I asked you all to switch on the camera, because I am sharing my trade secrets with you all and I want to see the smiling faces, है ना, ताकि ये आप मतलब it feels so good if you are not paying tax on 10 lakhs income, otherwise 10 lakh का income का मैं compute करके दिखाऊं तो you are paying कम से कम 1,12,500 प्लस सेस करके कैलकुलेट करके करेंगे। So that is a thing. So here just a small tax planning if you do, you can save a lot of tax. So what happens, person में again company है या पार्टनरशिप बिजनेस है, और एक सबसे इंटरेस्टिंग बंदा है every other artificial and jurisdictional person. Now who is this every other artificial and jurisdictional person? That means जो दिख रहा नहीं है वो भी है। लाइक फॉर एग्जाम्पल एक मूवी में जिसमें क्रिश मूवी था शायद, उसमें प्रीति जिंटा ने अपने फोटो लगाने दिया, माला चढ़ाने दिया। ओके, आप जिंदा हो लेकिन फिर भी आपने फोटो पे माला, शी asked some amount for that. So even though that photo is a non-living thing, but that is income for Priti Zinta. So मंदिर में जो भगवान की चढ़ावा करते अपने, that deity is every other artificial and jurisdictional person. ये बात अलग है सेक्शन 12, 11 करके चैरिटेबल इंस्टीट्यूशन बोल के द टेम्पल्स दे डू नॉट पे टैक्स, वो अलग चीज है, बट अ डेटी इज ऑल्सो अ पर्सन। तो आज से अब जब भगवान को देखोगे तब उनको बोला आप भी पर्सन हो, बट इट इज नॉट एन असेसी इफ इट इज नॉट पेइंग टैक्स। सो इनकम टैक्स डिपार्टमेंट में असेसी हमें देखना है, पर्सन नहीं देखना। तो हम लोगों ने मैंने एक रिसर्च पेपर लिखा था, सो हु इज नॉट अ पर्सन। यार आप सब पकड़ लियो सबको, इवन हाथी, मेरे साथी के हाथी को भी पकड़ लियो, पर्सन बना दियो। तो बोले एक डेड पर्सन इज नॉट अ पर्सन, जो मर जाएगा उसे कहां से खींच के लाओगे आप। सो ओनली अ डेड पर्सन इज नॉट अ पर्सन, बाकी के लोग सब पर्सन है। अब ये पर्सन इफ दे आर पेइंग टैक्स दे बिकम एन असेसी। इफ दिस पर्सन इज क्लेमिंग रिफंड, तो वो हाउ यू क्लेम रिफंड, व्हेन समटाइम्स व्हाट हैपेंस, you are not liable to pay tax. Say supposing I am earning 5 lakh rupees, okay, and what happens, I am not liable to pay tax. But क्या हो गया, हर ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में टीडीएस काटने का बड़ा शौक है, काट दो यार टीडीएस काट दो, हम तो असेसिंग डिफॉल्ट नहीं देंगे। जो टीडीएस काटते हैं ना, many people feel that यार मेरा तो टीडीएस कट गया but I was not liable to pay tax. Do not worry, you can claim refund. So आज you can note down, there is form 26AS. Always ensure that कि March ending जब हो जाए, go and just download your form 26AS. Okay, this you can get it in income tax site. Form 26AS को download करिए, और पूरे साल में कितने लोगों ने आपका TDS काटा है, just note it down. It is not necessary कि आपको पूरा का पूरा वो, they have paid tax on your behalf. Just note down all the TDS, and if you are not liable to pay tax, you will get all the tax refunded from the government. Government interest भी payment करती है उसमें, अगर वो late payment करे तो. So see, these are some of the things I have seen. Lot of my clients, they never claimed the refund. बोलते मैडम तो काट ही लेते थे, अभी क्या करे, जो काट लिया तो काट गया। अरे भैया आपके पैसे है, वो वापस लीजिए उसे पैसे गवर्नमेंट से। So here we should not be that type of person also. भाई टैक्स पेमेंट करना है गवर्नमेंट को, बट क्यों एक्स्ट्रा पेमेंट करना है ना? So that is a thing, because this is my hard code earn money. So earlier people used to think मैं सुबह से लेके शाम तक काम कर करके हारे, और ये जो है वसूली भाई की तरह गवर्नमेंट आ जाते हैं आफ्टर द ईयर एंड, बोलते भैया कटोरे में पैसे दे दो, आपने काम किया, इनकम मैं कमाऊं और गवर्नमेंट को टैक्स में दूं, क्यों दूं भाई? तो ऑलरेडी वी हैव सीन, so we should pay only that much which is required. So these are two terminologies which people are not aware of. So when you file a return, you are filing a return as an assessee, not as a person. Always remember this. Next is previous year assessment year. This is also very important, because whenever a tax person talks, they talk in terms of this previous year assessment year. Now what is a previous year? So previous year क्या होता है, बिंदास होके कमाने के लिए होता है, अब कमाते रहो, गवर्नमेंट आपको डिस्टर्ब नहीं करेगी। So what is an assessment year? जितना आपने previous year में कमाया, that is liable to be taxed in the assessment year. You are going to file return in the assessment year. So here many people again confused. Okay, आज मैं पैसे कमाया, कल टैक्स पेमेंट करना होगा क्या? अरे कब तक टैक्स पेमेंट करना पड़ेगा? So what happens? They included some advance tax. Advance tax is not at all necessary if your tax liability is not more than 10,000. अगर आपकी 10,000 से ज्यादा टैक्स लाइबिलिटी नहीं है, you don't have to pay tax advance tax. Advance tax 15 मार्च के पहले कंप्लीट करना होता है in the previous year. So if I feel if this is my current year, so what happens? The finance people call it as financial year, current year, different terminologies use करते हैं. But always remember financial year जो है, so my financial year can be starting from January to December, but previous year always starts from April to next March. So abhi current year ka previous year, if I say it started from 1st April 21 and it will end when 31st March 22. So 1st April 21 से लेके 31st March 22 तक, that is a previous year. 31st March तक आपने जितना भी कमाया है, that need to be filed. That means you have to file a return for that in the assessment year. So assessment year will happen when 1st April 22 से लेके 31st March 23. So 23 एक साल गवर्नमेंट आपको देती है. You can file your return, disclose your income, सब कुछ. अभी और भी amendments आए हैं, but assessment year is like that. So what happens whenever we file the return? In the return, you will see assessment year, previous year नहीं लिखते वो लोग. So again, many people are confused when they are filing the return in the assessment year. यार ये तो assessment year खत्म ही नहीं हुआ. Income क्या आधा निकला है? No, this is the income related to the previous year. यानी last year के income को मुझे disclose करना है assessment year. That is the thing. If you have any queries, please you can ask me. This is little bit confusion वाला चीज है. Previous year, assessment year. In the assessment year, you are disclosing the total income earned by you in the previous year. यानी last year जो आपने income earn किया, वो assessment year में आप disclose करते हैं. When you are filing the return, you are filing the return on the basis of assessment year. Okay, always remember this. ऊपर में जो year लिखा हुआ रहता है, वो assessment year, but वो income होता है last year का. Okay, I hope it is clear. Any questions? Okay. Now what happens? These were the different thing, but the most interesting thing is residential status. Now अभी क्या है, बहुत सारे लोग बोलते हैं ना, मैं तो NRI बन गया, बड़ा खुश हो जाते हैं. यार तुम्हारा NRI बन गए, मैं कब बनूंगा, मैं कितना कोशिश कर रहा हूँ मैं NRI बनूं. लेकिन it is a very easy thing, you know, and you can change your residential status every year. यानी अपना DP हर साल चेंज हो सकता है. मैं तो NRI बन गई, अगले साल मैं बोलूंगी मैं रेसिडेंट बन गई. कभी भी बनना हो बन लो. But what you have to do, you have to plan your stay in India. So in India, you are not paying tax as per citizenship. US में citizenship से tax payment होता है. But in India, I am not paying tax as per citizenship. I can be Indian citizen, but I can be NRI, and I am not paying tax. It is so interesting in India. So in India, the main theme of taxation is residential status. So here in India, you can become, so you can get 3 residential status in India: ROR, RNOR, and NR. Resident and ordinarily resident, resident but not ordinary resident, and NR, that is non-resident. 3 type का status आपको मिल सकता है, just depending on the stay of India. एक just छोटा example, if you are staying in India for more than 182 days, so 181 days के ऊपर हुआ, 182 days हुआ, अगर आप इंडिया में 182 डेज रह गए, या फिर से 60 डेज अभी इस साल, एंड लास्ट 4 years 365 डेज, यू बिकम रेसिडेंट इन इंडिया. सो सी दिस, आज मुझे अगर रेसिडेंट नहीं बनना है, मैं 182 डेज नहीं रहूंगी. नो, इट इज नॉट नेसेसरी कि कंटिन्यूअस होना चाहिए. इट कैन बी ब्रेक. नो, हियर इंडिया ने क्या बोला, बहुत सारे लोग बोलते हैं मैं आसमान में एक होटल में रह रहा था, तो वो इंडिया में था नहीं. अरे नहीं भैया, इफ इट इज इन द इनसाइड द इंडियन कॉन्टिनेंट, अगर वो आसमान है, पाताल है, जमीन है, पानी है, इफ इट इज इनसाइड द इंडियन फ्रंटियर्स, बोलते 12 नॉटिकल माइल्स उसे बोलते हैं, इट इज कवर्ड एज इंडियन स्टेट. सो यू जस्ट हैव टू बी वेरी केयरफुल. 182 डेज अगर आपको करना है, तब रेसिडेंट बनना है, डोंट जस्ट stay below 182 days. or 60 days plus 365 days. This is just one example. Lot of provisions are there. अगर मैं ये cover कर पाऊंगी तो अपना main topic impact of budget 22 cover नहीं हो पाएगा. तो आप बोलेंगे मुझे आप तो टैक्स बढ़ा के चले गए हमें और impact of budget 22 हम जान ही नहीं पाए. तो इसीलिए this is just a small I am touching this. कभी और हो सका तो अपने वापस मिलेंगे and then I can cover how it is computed. So this is the basic tax collaborate. So I mentioned कि 5 लाख तक आपको टैक्स पेमेंट नहीं करना है. People say this very loosely, but ये गलत चीज है. Because why? Because the actual tax slab rate says you are not paying tax up to 2,50,000. So the basic exemption limit is 2,50,000, but इसके संग 87A का तड़का लगता है रिबेट का. उसके कारण 5 लाख तक अगर आप कमा रहे हो तो you are not paying tax. So what people think कि मैं 15 लाख कमा रहा हूँ, 5 लाख तक तो टैक्स ही पेमेंट नहीं करना, 10 बाकी के 10 लाख पे टैक्स करना है. गलत है. Up to 2,50,000 तक you are not paying tax, and then the tax slab rate continues. So what is the tax slab rate? 2,50,000 to 5 lakh, the tax rate is 5%. 5 lakh से 10 lakh तक the tax rate is 20%, and above that the tax rate is 30%. उस पे अगर surcharge if applicable surcharge add होगा, and then cess 4% add होगा. ये सब मिला के becomes your tax liability. This was old tax regime. गवर्नमेंट ने लास्ट ईयर एक न्यू टैक्स रेजिम इंट्रोड्यूस किया 115 BAC, जिसमें बोला देखो टैक्स स्लैब रेट ये जो था, लेट मी शो यू द इंटरेस्टिंग पार्ट. एंड मेनी पीपल फील दैट नहीं यार ये तो बड़ा अच्छा चीज है, बिकॉज सी दिस 2 लाख टू 5 लाख 5% द रेट इज कांस्टेंट. ओके, बट 5 लाख टू 7,50,000 दे मेड द टैक्स रेट इज 10%, एंड इसे 5% तक इंक्रीज कराया. So if we compare the new tax regime with the old tax regime, we will see that old tax regime में 10 lakhs के ऊपर होती you are paying 30% tax. But new tax regime में when your income increases or goes beyond 15 lakhs, you are paying 30% tax. So अगर हम इसे compare करेंगे तो हमें क्या लगेगा? यार new tax regime is better. We should pay tax as per new tax regime. You know, अभी सब इंस्टीट्यूट में the HR people are calling each and every employees and they are asking you, sir, madam, आप कैसे टैक्स पेमेंट करोगे? Because they need to deduct TDS. मार्च है, मार्च के पहले they need to deduct clear off their TDS part. So they are asking you कि न्यू टैक्स रेजिम से टैक्स पेमेंट करना चाहिए कि ओल्ड टैक्स रेजिम से पेमेंट करें. आप कैसे पेमेंट करोगे? It is a choice given by the government. Now if someone forces you, नहीं आपको तो मैं न्यू टैक्स रेजिम से कैलकुलेट, यू नो न्यू टैक्स रेजिम से एक अगेन अंदर की बात बताते हैं प्लीज. आई एम जस्ट डिस्कसिंग ऑल दिस ऑन अ वेरी लाइटर टर्म, नॉट टू ऑफेंड एनीवन. सो प्लीज अगर किसी को कुछ बात बुरी लगे तो प्लीज दे कैन से नहीं ये तो नहीं. सो दिस इज जस्ट ऑन अ लाइटर टोन आई एम डिस्कसिंग एवरीथिंग. If someone asks you and forces you, no, you should pay as per new tax regime, I will say, please understand the difference and under which tax regime you are saving tax, go for that. आपके पैसे हैं, आपको बचाना है, किसी को कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ेगा. Let me tell you what happens. New tax regime में simply जो आपका इनकम रहेगा on that it will be applied. That means the tax rate will be applied on the income as it is. But old tax regime में थोड़े काम करने पड़ते हैं. क्या काम करने होते हैं? Like for example, I have got 15 lakhs income. मैं इसमें क्या करूंगी? चल LIC पेमेंट किया, डिडक्शन आई विल गेट. चल मेडिक्लेम पेमेंट किया, डिडक्शन आई विल गेट. ठीक है, और बहुत सारे एग्जेम्पशंस मिलेंगे मुझे. मैं उन सब को डिडक्ट करती जाऊंगी एंड से सपोजिंग इट गेट रिड्यूस टू 10 lakhs. मेरा टैक्सेबल इनकम गेट्स रिड्यूस टू टैक्सेबल 10 lakhs. So what will happen? I will apply the tax rate on the net figure, not on the gross figure. But new tax regime में you are not allowed to avail any deduction, any exemption, and the tax rate is applicable as it is. और दूसरे example देते हैं. Since we are all on salaried basis, so you are all of you are aware of your say children education allowance. You are aware of house rent allowance. ये सब allowed नहीं है new tax regime में. So you cannot deduct all these things if you are going for new tax regime. So this was just an example of tax slab rate. There is a surcharge of 50 lakhs. So surcharge why I am showing? Because there is some amendment in that. Government has made an amendment. So the surcharge, you see, it is highest if you are earning more than 2 crores. अब हम बोलेंगे कब आएगा 2 करोड़, कब की बात कर रहे हो आप, 2 करोड़ कमाते कमाते तो ये, so here but still government ने उन्हीं को पकड़ा जो 2 करोड़ और 5 करोड़ के ऊपर कमा रहे हैं, उनके लिए एक अमेंडमेंट इस साल वो लोग लेके आए, 25%, 37% they were paying surcharge, तो उनको गवर्नमेंट ने the government has given some discount on that. अरे देना है तो हमें दीजिए, हम मांग रहे हैं, हमारी जो इनकम 1 करोड़ के भी नीचे है, why don't you give us help? We the salaried class will be given a lot of benefits, but the government tried to give this. So let us go to the main topic of as today's topic is budget 22 key reforms in direct taxation. So now when I will be touching all these terminologies, it will not be a difficult thing कि okay यार ये क्या था, because आज जब मेरे सामने कोई फ्रेंच बोल रहा है, जर्मन बोल रहा है, तो मुझे लगेगा यार छोड़ना, इंटरेस्ट ही नहीं आ रहा. But what happens अगर if I know some jargon, some terminologies of that, it becomes easier for me. The first amendment the government came out, like I mentioned, surcharge. Surcharge 2 crore से 5 crore was 25% and above 5 crore was 37%. The government came out with this amendment कि earlier, if say what is long-term capital gain, I will just again give you one example. Say supposing I am selling a property and I have kept that property for more than 24 months. मेरी जो property, house property, I have kept it for more than 24 months. After 2 years, I am selling that property. It become long-term capital asset. और उसमें जो भी आप profit कमाएंगे, that becomes long-term capital gain. वो tax होता है 20% straight flat rate. उसका 20% straight rate है. तो 20% tax plus surcharge plus cess बनके that becomes your tax liability. Now earlier what happens, ये जो long term capital gain है, अगर say supposing मैंने 50 करोड़ की प्रॉपर्टी बेची, ठीक है, एंड उसमें of course मेरा जो gain है, that gain will be of course more than 5 crores. So that 5 crores पे surcharge लगता था 37%. तो गवर्नमेंट ने इस बार क्या किया, they have capped that 37% and now they have reduced it to 15%. So those who were paying highest surcharge, that is 25% and 37%, now they have to pay only 15% surcharge. Rate they have not changed, it is 20%, still it is there. Next, updated return. This is also interesting. Some people, due to ignorance, due to pandemic, they were not able to file the return. ठीक है, उनका taxable था, but they were not able to file the return. अब क्या है, सबको पता है, there is a penalty. What is penalty? If you are not filing your return in the assessment year within 31st December, आपको penalty लगेगी, बराबर penalty लगेगी बोलते हैं. ठीक है. Now what is that penalty? Penalty is say if they are paying say after 31st December, it is 5,000. Otherwise, उसके भी beyond payment करेंगे 10,000 लग जाएगा. So what happens? The government says no. What happens if you have forgotten to file your return? The government is giving you 2 years now. Updated return आप file कर सकते हो. But updated return में you cannot change your income if it is reducing or losses increase हो रहा है. That cannot be done. Now earlier there was a provision of filing a revised return. ठीक है, revised return that means I have filed the original return. मैंने उसमें changes कुछ किया and then I again just say revised return किया. Belated return में penalty लग गई. So what happens now? The government says no, you can file one updated return even if you have not filed earlier. You just mention it as updated return. The government has given you a window of 2 years. You can file within that 2 years this. Now, if you are actually filing an updated return within 2 years, you are going to make a payment of additional 25% on that. And अगर आप 2 साल के ऊपर के बाद after say ending of 2 years and say 3 years के within में करेंगे updated return, you will have to pay 50% additional tax. That is the government has done. Now see here again, they are talking discussing all these provisions in the terms of assessment year. So now it becomes clear that everything is discussed in income tax on the basis of this assessment year only. Previous year, it is in our mind कि अच्छा ये assessment year है, मतलब ये last year से related है. So if you have forgotten to file a return, or if you have you want to change something in your return, you can file an updated return. This was the second you can say reform, taxation reforms in this. Next, what happens? NPS. Okay, notified pension system or scheme. The government, what happened? Up NPS. Now here I want to discuss something about NPS. Those who are earning a lot at a higher income bracket, I will suggest that you should go for NPS. Now NPS is like a retirement planning, and every person should go for retirement planning. Now why every person should go for retirement planning? अभी पैसे तो बोले पैसे तो मिले, अभी मिल जाए, अभी के खा ले, रिटायरमेंट कौन देखता है? Retirement सब देखेंगे. Lot of expenditures you will see during the retirement time, and you will not have any income. So you should plan for your retirement. Now every organization deduct provident fund. Okay, and they say this is in the name of your retirement only. कि okay, provident fund में पैसे जमा हो रहे हैं, and after retirement I will get the provident fund. NPS क्या होता है? When you are depositing in NPS, you are not allowed to withdraw the money from NPS. You will get a regular payment. It is like a pension system again. So everyone should avail of this NPS. It is invested in the market. And of course, don't get scared. The NPS is handled by portfolio managers who are very much experienced. And as per your age, they decide your portfolio. So as if you are young, the majority of the investment will be comprising of equities and then debts and other assets. But as you grow older, they reduces the equity component and they increase the debt component. So don't worry about that. So what happens if you are belonging to a private organization? 10% of your salary can be invested by employer. So apart from provident fund, you can request your HR कि हमारी 10. So what happens? बहुत सारे कटेंगे सैलरी. तो क्या होगा? मुझे तो कट कुट आके इतने ही पैसे मिलते. भैया जो कट के मिल रहे हैं वो आपके रिटायरमेंट प्लानिंग में ही जा रहे हैं. So don't worry about that. Except TDS जो गवर्नमेंट को जाती है, बाकी all are your retirement planning. So what happens? You can request your HR कि 10% of your salary they can invest in NPS. Apart from that, you can also invest 50,000 तक आप भी invest कर सकते हो. So that is the NPS का thing. So what happens? Every year you are saving money for your retirement. This is for a private organization. Government ने क्या किया? Earlier 14% was allowed for central government employees. The government has extended the benefit to state government employees. Private organization के लिए कुछ नहीं हुआ है. So private organization still 10% ही limit है. The employer cannot invest more than 10% of their salary in NPS. But central and state government employees के लिए 14% का cap कर दिया है. They can invest 14% of their salary. The employer, I'm talking about employer, I'm not talking about employer right now. Now, they've also made an amendment, higher TDS for non-filers. So what happens? If you are not filing the return, and if you have interest income, dividend income, sale of property, in that case, the TDS will be ranging from 10% to 30%. This is for non-filers. Tax exemption from NRIs. This is again just a small thing. Okay, if you are NRI and if you have income from royalty, portfolio management, derivatives, all these, and you are based from the gift. So gift city, I hope everyone knows, that is Ahmedabad, is treated as a gift city. Why it is treated as gift city? Because International Financial Service Center was first established there. So NSE, BSE, we can trade all the Indian listed companies. But if you want to invest in foreign countries, you have to route it through International Financial Service Center. IFSC bolte usse. And the first center was established in Ahmedabad. That is why it was treated as gift city. The second center is in BKC, Bandra Kurla complex in Mumbai. So these are the only two centers right now. And exemption is there. So NRIs, if they are dealing through IFSC's gift city, of course that will be exempted. Now here, again, many people are not aware of this 80DD section. कोई की family में अगर कोई disabled person है, differently you can say able person or disabled person, they get deduction. So सबकी life जो है ना, बोलते ना, it is restricted to 80C का deduction. So I have seen many clients जो आके बोलते हैं, हमें पता है 80C का deduction लेना है, 1.5 लाख लेना है. But उससे भी जहां और भी बहुत है, दुनिया बहुत बड़ी है. There are lots and lots of deduction you can avail. So one of the deduction is 80DD. So I had suggested one of my clients, उसके family में डिसेबल पर्सन थे जो जिनका वो देखभाल कर रहा था. So I requested you go and avail this. You can avail this deduction under 80DD, and it is very interesting. अगर severely disabled person है 1,25,000 से you can reduce your taxable income. So this is the beauty of this. So what happens earlier? What happens if you're taking out any policy on the life of that disabled person? The total lump sum amount was only you can withdraw out of the policy holder. So if say supposing some Mr. X has got a disabled say dependent, and Mr. X takes out a policy on the life of his dependent person, only on the death of Mr. X the total amount was withdrawable. So the government made an amendment this year. No, only after the say age of 60, even if his age of 60 years, if he's not dying also, Mr. X can withdraw after the maturity of that policy. So this becomes a relief. It's a relief to the policy holder if they are taking out, because what happens, बहुत सारे LIC में policies है, double bonanza like जीवन आनंद वो सब में, in that you don't have to wait for the death. If I am taking a say any annuity bonus का scheme में निकालती हूँ, and even if I am not dying, I can get the annuity after the maturity of that policy. So that is the amendment which the government has made this year. The next thing is very interesting, which you should know. Say supposing किसी को भी say those who had suffered from COVID-19 and they had got some compensation from the employer. So earlier it was treated as perquisite and it was taxable. एक चीज याद रखिएगा, anything which you are getting from your employer is taxable. अगर if you are getting in cash or kind also, घर मिलता है, गाड़ी मिलती है, everything is taxable. So employer का ऊपर the table, under the table, दाएं से, बाजू से, कहीं से भी मिलता है, that is all taxable. So now the government made an amendment this year. If you are getting any compensation from your employer for COVID-19 or say ex gratia payment for the deceased employee, that is not taxable. So this was an amendment, and this is retrospective effect से, यानी 2020 April 2020 से it is applicable now. So from 2020 April 2020 से अभी तक जिनको भी कोई ex gratia payment मिला है या any amount for COVID-19 reimbursement from the company, that is not taxable now. If you are not getting it from employer but someone else, 10 lakh tak, it is not taxable, and this payment should have been received within 12 months from the date of the death. So that is the important amendment which the government has made this year. Again, what happens? The government had introduced in March 2019 October को उन्होंने एक निकाला था 15% corporate tax. The tax of company is 30%, 25%, इस तरीके से range होता है. But what happens? They reduced it to 15% for manufacturing units. They want, like I told you, PLI, production incentive scheme, government को introduce करना, so that more and more manufacturing units come into picture. So what happens? They introduce this 15% tax rate, and they said कि 15% tax rate is applicable if you are establishing your manufacturing unit till March 31st, 23. But now, since COVID-19 pandemic में बहुत सारे units were not established because of various factors, they have increased it to 1 more year. So you can avail this concessional rate for 1 more year. Cryptocurrency. This was interesting because RBI is introducing this digitalized currency maybe very soon, but they have not legalized it yet. But India is going to come very soon. So we find bitcoins, बहुत सारे different varieties के हमें cryptocurrencies मिलते हैं. अब इंडिया का भी एक अपना cryptocurrency होगा. Now many people are not aware of this. इंडिया का अपना एक bond भी था, like GDRs or ADRs, American Depository Receipts, Global Depository Receipts. We are very fond of Puma, Adidas, है ना? जैसे foreign brands के बहुत हम लोग we are very much attracted. But when we call khadi, ये बड़ा गरीब इंसान है, खादी पहनता है, ये Puma afford ही नहीं कर सकता. People call like this, है ना? We are not actually happy about our Swadeshi. We feel attracted towards foreign brands. So यही था कि government had introduced one masala bond. ठीक है? इंडिया का था वो, IDR बोलते थे. So that भाई आप ADR में invest कर रहे हो, GDR में invest कर रहे हो, why not foreign country invest in our bonds? so that what will happen, foreign currency का inflow होगा इंडिया में, and our balance of trade and balance of payment will improvise. But what happened, हम खुद ही प्रमोट नहीं किए अपने स्वदेशी को, खादी को, and it is very strange, you won't believe. Once I went to ISKCON temple, I saw the countries, the tourists, they were buying that khadi from ISKCON temple at a 4 times price. तो आज मैं खादी में जाऊंगी, एक कुर्ता लूंगी 500 का, वही सेम प्राइस 2000 में मिल रहा है. दे फील अरे यार बड़ा कॉस्टली, बड़ा अच्छा प्रोडक्ट है. ये सॉफ्ट कॉटन है, ये स्वदेशी है हमारा. इट इज नॉट प्यूमा, इट इज नॉट एडिडास. So what is happening? We need to promote our own brand. So आज जब क्रिप्टो करेंसी इंडिया का खुद का आएगा, we need to promote that. And but so what will happen? What the government has done in order to track off, क्योंकि क्रिप्टो करेंसी what happens? It is governed by blockchain. Everything is in clouds, and it is very difficult to locate. But जो transactions करते हैं, they know कि who has purchased, who had sold this cryptocurrency. So what has happened? वो transparency है. But in order that government should track hold of that, they have introduced TDS of 1% on the sale. They have introduced a tax rate of 30%. आप किसी को क्रिप्टो करेंसी गिफ्ट करोगे, तो ये बड़ा फैशन है, चांदी के सिक्के, सोने की गिन्नी गिफ्ट करते हैं. बहुत सारे लोग जो बहुत क्रिप्टो करेंसी में डील करते हैं, छोड़ ना चांदी के सिक्के क्या, क्रिप्टो करेंसी, एक क्रिप्टो दिया, अरे खुश हो गए. सो अर्लियर इट वाज नॉट टैक्स, नाउ इट विल बी टैक्सेबल इन द हैंड्स ऑफ रिसिपेंट. यानी कि मुझे अगर गिफ्ट करते हैं क्रिप्टो करेंसी, मुझे टैक्स पेमेंट करना होगा, सामने वाला निकल गया. सो दिस इज the different types of amendments which the government have made on the cryptocurrency. Others, so dividends from overseas subsidiaries should also be taxed. Education sales not allowable as deduction. So what happens? Companies जो है, very interesting thing. When I'm a salaried class, I pay tax on my income. जितने भी मैंने पैसे कमाए, that is cannot be treated as your business expenses. So this was the different amendments of budget 22. So we have covered all the budget 22 ka impact on taxation reforms. I have just made some slides how you can as a salaried person save planned tax with current budget scenario. What you can do, so main thing you should know what is CTC. Many people they talk very loosely, this is my salary, this is my CTC. CTC बड़ा इंटरेस्टिंग चीज है, नेवर से दिस इज माय CTC. व्हाई? बिकॉज CTC का मतलब होता है कॉस्ट टू द कंपनी. कॉस्ट टू द कंपनी मतलब डॉक्टर प्रीति जहाँ बैठी हैं, वहां पे जो लाइट जल रहा है, जहाँ टेबल का स्पेस ले रखे वो स्क्वायर फीट, जो पानी आपने पिया है, एवरीथिंग इज दैट कॉस्ट. ओके, सो हियर व्हाट हैपेंस, अगर कंपनी जब आपका कैलकुलेट करेगी मॉन्यूमेंट्स, they will add all these costs कि आपने ये खर्च किया, आपने पानी पिया, आपने कॉफी पिया, आपने चाय पी. This is all the cost to the company when they are recruiting it, and they will ask you to justify. So many people, again, please don't get offended. अगर HR को justify कराना है कि आपको प्रमोशन देना है, इंक्रीमेंट देना है, ठीक है, आप justify करिए, इतना आपके ऊपर कॉस्ट खर्च करो, है ना. This is CTC. Salary means the salary what you are getting, basic. Apart from that, any allowances which you are getting. So it includes cash, kind, everything. That is your salary. So just remember, the whole salary is taxable except some allowances. So if you can adjust your salary head under under these different head, you will be able to save lot of taxes. So आपको सिर्फ heads change कराने हैं कि आप मुझे basic दो, but जो बाकी के जो allowances है, so 40% basic दीजिए, बाकी का आप मुझे इस allowances के नाम पे दे दीजिए. So what will happen? You will save a lot of tax. But this can happen only in old tax regime, not in new tax regime. So old tax regime में आप मांग सकते हो LTA, leave travel allowance. 4 साल में 2 साल आप ट्रेवल कर सकते हो, कंपनी आपके टू एंड फ्रो का खर्चा उठाएगी. ओके, सो ऑफ योरसेल्फ, ऑफ योर स्पाउस, योर चिल्ड्रन एंड योर पेरेंट्स. सो आप 4 साल में 2 साल अपने पेरेंट्स को तीर्थ यात्रा करवा सकते हो एट द कॉस्ट ऑफ योर कंपनी. दिस इज अ पार्ट ऑफ योर सैलरी. 2 साल टैक्सेबल होगा, 2 साल इट विल बी एग्जेम्प्टेड. दैट मीन्स फॉर एग्जाम्पल आपने बोला LTA मुझे 50,000 आप दीजिए. 50,000 के टिकट्स यू हैव टू सबमिट टू HR. ठीक है, 50,000. ऐसा नहीं कि आप फर्स्ट क्लास का टिकट, वो मैं उसमें आगे अंदर नहीं जाऊंगी बिकॉज रिकॉर्डिंग हो रहा है, दैट विल बी अ लॉट ऑफ थिंग, कॉम्प्लिकेटेड कंट्रोवर्शियल चीज हो जाएगा. 50,000 के टिकट्स आपको सबमिट करने हैं, ठीक है। एनी डिपेंडिंग ऑन द कंपनी पॉलिसी कि आपको फर्स्ट क्लास का टिकट मिलेगा, एयरफेयर का मिलेगा, दैट डिपेंड्स ऑन द पॉलिसी। 50,000 will get reduced from 10 lakhs and tax will be calculated on 9,50,000. So यानी कि पहले आपने 10 लाख पे टैक्स पेमेंट किया, अभी आप 9,50,000 पे टैक्स पेमेंट करोगे. This is the beauty of exemption. So if you just separate the salary का head under LTA, it will help you. If you ask for HRA, HRA कब होगा? When you are not owning a house. अगर आपके पास घर है, आप HRA क्लेम नहीं कर सकते. For that you need to stay in a rented house. Okay, so if you are staying in a rented house, you can claim HRA. Yeah, the HR will decide कि HRA का क्या अमाउंट होगा. If say they fix say 1 lakh rupees, तो आपकी टैक्सेबल इनकम अगेन 1 लाख से रिड्यूस हो गई. यानी 10 लाख से 50,000 माइनस LTA माइनस 1 लाख, यानी कि you are paying tax on 8,50,000 now, not on 10 lakhs. Your salary remains 10 lakhs only, but you are paying tax on 8,50,000. This is again the second head. Different types of allowance, traveling allowance, transfer allowance, ये सब company reimburse करती है when you are going for tour on official purpose. Whatever they reimburse, that is not taxable. Okay. Next, uniform allowance बहुत सारी company हटा चुकी है, because what happens, they say uniform मतलब एक specific code of uniform होना चाहिए. But if you want to justify, you can say I cannot wear Hawaii chappal, I cannot wear Bermudas, I cannot wear t-shirts in the office, so I am wearing formal dress. That also cost. So please give me some amount in the name of uniform allowance. So supposing 25,000 उन्होंने दिया, 8,50,000 again get reduced by 25,000. You are paying tax on 8,25,000. So this is how, if you plan your tax under different allowances, exempted allowances, the taxable income gets reduced and you are paying lesser and lesser tax. This is children education allowance. बड़ा बेकार है. 100 रुपए per child, 1200 का कोई भी फीस नहीं होता. It is better you can avail 80C. 80C में tuition fees, whatever you are paying for your child, you can avail that. So this is different. NPS का मैंने बोल दिया आप लोगों को. NPS, if you are investing in NPS, 50,000 तक you can claim deduction. Provident fund है. Provident fund का एक गवर्नमेंट ने लास्ट ईयर अमेंडमेंट निकाला था. If you are actually 2.5 lakhs ज्यादा इन्वेस्ट करते हैं, so most probably जिनका 50 लाख के ऊपर इनकम होता है, उनकी कंपनी जो है, whenever they are contributing to provident fund, and if it is more than 2.5 lakhs, then it is taxable. So अभी we should not be bothered about that. So this is the provident fund का. The company can contribute 12% of your salary. You can contribute whatever amount, but it comes under the ceiling limit of 80C. So this I am just covering, just एक cursory glance दे रही हूँ मैं. I am not going into deeper. कभी और मौका मिलेगा तो I will show you how to say means calculate the tax of a salaried class and कौन-कौन से head में you can save tax. Perquisites है. Everything whatever you are getting in kind is taxable. क्या चीज taxable नहीं होता है? टेलीफोन और लैपटॉप फैसिलिटी कंपनी से जो मिलती है वो टैक्सेबल नहीं है. सो अपने पैसे रीइंबर्समेंट मत लीजिए. टेक टेलीफोन फ्रॉम योर कंपनी. अभी कोई HR सुन रहा होगा आपके कॉलेज का, तो वो मुझे पर्सनली कॉल करेगा, आप मेरे एम्प्लॉइज को भड़का के चले गए हो. लेकिन दिस इज बोथ साइड यू कैन से बेनिफिट. बोथ साइड बेनिफिट क्या? एनी विच वे द कंपनी इज रीइंबर्सिंग यू, बट इफ यू टेक टेलीफोन फैसिलिटी, लैपटॉप फैसिलिटी, नॉट टैक्सेबल. दूसरा, जब भी आपको कुछ पढ़ना है, if you want to go for say management courses or you want to study further, go and ask your company. Whatever the company is reimbursing you, that is not taxable. So, and again you can see once in a year the company organizes some events that is not taxable in your hand. So don't worry about that. एक और चीज है, अगर आपको और टैक्स बचाना है, you can request your company कि वो आपको meal coupons दे. So meal coupons या सब्सिडाइज लंच दे, यानी कैंटीन फैसिलिटी में अगर लंच करवा रहे हैं सब्सिडाइज रेट पे, दैट इज नॉट टैक्सेबल. मील कूपन्स का बेनिफिट क्या है मैं बताती हूँ. 50 रुपीज पर मील पर डे, यानी एक दिन में 100 रुपए इंटू से पर वर्किंग डे. से वर्किंग डे इज सपोजिंग 220 days in a month से सपोजिंग, बट नहीं होता है 20 days. 20 days कर लिया 20 multiplied by 12. So what will happen? You will be getting 24,000. 24,000 will be again reduced by 8,25,000. Taxable income reduced, and this 24,000 can be easily spent. कोई भी malls में जाएंगे, कुछ भी जाएंगे, कहीं पर भी जाते हैं आजकल meal coupons valid है. So that in that manner you can save tax. 24,000 into 30%, if you calculate, it comes to around 6,200. इतने रुपए की तो आप साड़ी दिला सकते हो अपनी वाइफ को, प्रोफेसर ब्रिजेश, है ना? So you are saving tax here 6,200 by just availing meal coupons. And उसके बाद आराम से even Dr. Preeti भी जो है, she can do a lot of shopping with that save tax. So why not save tax instead of paying more tax, है ना? So that is the basic logic behind this. The last head of salary का deduction is standard deduction. 50,000 सबको मिलता है taxable income. These are different deductions. यानी 80C के अलग सी दुनिया एक और भी है, बहुत सारे different है. इससे भी आगे जहाँ है 80C तो है ही, which covers life insurance, NSC, PPF किया, हाउसिंग लोन लिया आपने, अगर उसका प्रिंसिपल पेमेंट करेंगे, they are all covered under 80C. But the maximum limit is 1,50,000. So what happens? एक मेरा क्लाइंट था जो क्या करता था, हर साल 1,50,000 का FD ले लेता था वो, ठीक है, बोले मैं 80C का डिडक्शन लेना चाहता हूँ. तो बोले आप FD जो है ना, अकॉर्डिंग टू मी FD जो है दैट इज द वर्स्ट इन्वेस्टमेंट आई से. व्हाई? बिकॉज FD की जो इंटरेस्ट रेट इज टैक्सेबल. सो आई फील FD तो लेना ही नहीं चाहिए. ऐसा लो कि भैया सूद भी टैक्सेबल ना हो और उसकी जो भी जितने भी इंटरेस्ट दैट इज आल्सो नॉट टैक्सेबल. सो सबसे बेस्ट क्या है, इफ यू इन्वेस्ट इन PPF, इफ यू गो फॉर लाइफ इंश्योरेंस. अगेन लाइफ इंश्योरेंस, एक और ऐसा क्लाइंट था जो लाइफ इंश्योरेंस 1.5 लाख का हर साल ले लेता था. तो मैं उसको बोलती, आप 1.5 लाख का लाइफ इंश्योरेंस लेते हो हर साल, लोग आपकी जीने की कामना नहीं करेंगे, मरने की कामना करेंगे. जब ये मरे तो लाइफ इंश्योरेंस की पॉलिसी हमारे हाथ में है. सो इतना भी आप लाइफ इंश्योरेंस मत लीजिए, सो दैट लोग आपकी जीने की कामना नहीं करके मरने की कामना करें. So what happens? You need to take out life insurance in such a manner कि your liability should be covered. यानी कि आपके मरने के बाद लोग आपके लिए रोए, आपकी लोन के लिए नहीं रोए. तो जैसे फॉर एग्जाम्पल आई परचेज वन हाउस वर्थ 1 करोड़, मैंने एक लाइफ इंश्योरेंस कराया 1 करोड़ का. तो व्हाट हैपेंड, अगर मैं कभी मर जाऊं तो दैट 1 करोड़ कैन टेक केयर ऑफ माय लोन ऑफ द हाउस. दैट इज द बेसिक फंडा ऑफ लाइफ इंश्योरेंस. लाइफ इंश्योरेंस अननेसेसरीली नहीं करवाना चाहिए. सो व्हाट हैपेंस, 80C शुड बी अ कॉम्बिनेशन ऑफ, NSC तो नहीं करवाना चाहिए बिकॉज उसका मेच्योरिटी अमाउंट विड्रॉ करने में तो पागल हो जाते हैं. सो व्हाट हैपेंस, द बेस्ट इज यू कैन इन्वेस्ट इन इक्विटी लिंक सेविंग स्कीम लाइक थ्रू म्यूचुअल फंड. लाइफ इंश्योरेंस थोड़ा लेना चाहिए, PPF लो आप, FD आई डोंट बिलीव इन दैट, और एक घर लेना चाहिए लोन पे हमेशा ना. अभी हम बोलेंगे हमारे पूर्वज बोल के कभी उधार मत लेना, ठीक है. मैं भी एक पूर्वज बन गई हूँ आजकल और सबको बोलती हूँ जब भी लेना उधार लेना. एक चरवाक थे जो बोलते थे उधार से जिंदगी चलाना है. एंड दिस इज द पॉलिसी ऑफ टैक्सेशन. इफ यू टेक होम लोन यू गेट टैक्स बेनिफिट, इफ यू टेक एजुकेशन लोन यू गेट टैक्स बेनिफिट. सो हियर, बट डोंट टेक कार ऑन लोन. कभी गाड़ी मत खरीदना आप लोन से, कोई बेनिफिट नहीं है. घर जितने भी खरीदो लोन से खरीदो, यू विल गेट लॉट ऑफ टैक्स बेनिफिट. तो हियर कैसे टैक्स बेनिफिट मिलेगा मैं आपको बता रही हूँ. 3.5 लाख तक आप अपनी टैक्स लायबिलिटी रिड्यूस कर सकते हो. तो अभी हम लोगों ने क्या देखा, 8.5 लाख तक तो हम लोगों ने रिड्यूस कर दिया. बाकी का होम लोन लेके करो आप, 5 लाख आपका इनकम हो गया, नो टैक्स एट ऑल. और 10 लाख पे टैक्स इज 1,12,500. आप 1,12,500 देना चाहते हो कि जीरो टैक्स देना चाहते हो, इट इज अप टू यू. So here that is up to you, 1,12,500 tax या zero taxation. So home loan अगर आपने लिया, what will happen, 3,50,000 का डिडक्शन मिल सकता है. How? 1,50,000 तक 80C and 2 lakhs for interest payment. That is under section 24B. So there is one head, house property, under which अगर आप अपने लिए घर खरीद रहे हो, for that interest का ceiling limit is 2 lakh. अगर लेट आउट कर रहे हो प्रॉपर्टी देयर इज नो सीलिंग लिमिट, बट 2 lakhs तक यू कैन रिड्यूस द इनकम. देन व्हाट हैपेंस, एक और सेक्शन निकला, गवर्नमेंट ने निकाला 80EA. इसमें एडिशनल 1,50,000 का आप इंटरेस्ट ले सकते हो. तो टोटल 5 लाख का टैक्स बेनिफिट है अगर आप घर ले रहे हो लोन पे. let me just tell you, I am not any agent of bank, and I'm not asking you to take loan from my bank. So I am not any agent of life insurance also. It's just that I'm just guiding you. And last, you just know this, why people take mediclaim. As you grow older, the premium amount gets costlier. आप एक कंपनी में अगर से सपोजिंग योर कंपनी इज टेकिंग आउट मेडिक्लेम फॉर यू, it is not necessary you will stay in that company forever. So here what happens, you should always take a mediclaim at the early age so that you reap the benefits at your older age. So 87 का मैंने बोल दिया, 12,500 is the ceiling limit. If your income is less than 5 lakh, you can get a special rebate of 12,500 because of this. और ultimate outcome of tax planning is पैसे पैसे और पैसे, and I don't think so किसी को ये बुरा लग रहा होगा, ठीक है. And for this, let me just so happy tax planning. And आप भी फिर गा रहे होंगे पैसा ये पैसा हाय पैसा और पैसा और पैसा. So there will come a time when you believe everything is finished. That will be the beginning. So this is the beginning. Let's do tax planning and save your tax, save your money. So make money, use the money to make more money and more money. I am a pakka finance person and I believe that बिना पैसे के कोई value नहीं है, कुछ नहीं है. Okay, that's it from my side. Thank you very much. I just hope I have just contributed something. That's it. Dr. Preeti, I think you're not audible.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Firstly, I would heartfully thank to a respected eminent resource person, Dr. Pinky Agarwal, ma'am. Ma'am has told us and guided us through on which sectors basically the economy depends. Ma'am showed us the statistical data of previous years India's balance of payments. Tax is inevitable, just like death, and that is clearly stated by ma'am. Ma'am guided us through what exactly income is before discussing direct tax on income to make our concept clear about the same. Ma'am has told us that even losses are also considered in income tax, through which one can save a certain amount of money. Ma'am guided us through how the returns you will file will be different in different heads of income. Ma'am told us about Form 26AS to file refund if you have paid extra tax or extra tax has been deducted on your income even if you didn't come in tax lab. Ma'am guided us through new tax regime and old tax regime and how it differs from individual to individual for opting the same. I'm sure that not only me, but an entire group of participants would already be feeling blessed by the wonderful knowledge and experience shared by ma'am. I'm sure that many of you would also be feeling blessed by the wonderful knowledge and experience shared by ma'am. Ma'am guided us through how the returns you will file will be different in different heads of income. Ma'am guided us through how the returns you will file will be different in different heads of income. Ma'am guided us through how the returns you will file will be different. Sponsor BBDITM. Now, I would like to thank a respected faculty coordinator, Dr. Preeti